Great to be here. Thanks everyone for being here. Football is super fun, but I think banking is more fun.
Yeah, it's quite unfair to go after sports, football.
Yeah. What's your favorite branch? Madrid?
No, Athletic Bilbao.
Okay.
That's the best one.
All right.
Sorry.
All right, so with me I have the pleasure to have Andrea Uribarri, who's the head of digital marketing platforms at BBVA. Andrea, it's great to have you back. You were here on this very stage 2 years ago, sharing your vision around real-time customer experience. And BBVA, in addition to being a great global bank, is also a great Tealium customer. And you've been doing some amazing work. So it'll be great to get some of your, share some of your experience with us. But before we start, can you just provide a quick background on your role and responsibility at BBVA?
Yeah, sure. So as you said, I'm the head of digital marketing engineering at BBVA. So we build and deploy the critical solutions behind CDP, marketing automation, analytics, VOC, paid media, all those solutions. And simply put, we make business wishes come true. So it's a great, very fun job.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, let's jump in. So BBVA has a very rich history of being a great customer-centric bank. So can you explain what is the BBVA vision with respect to being AI ready?
Yep, sure. So for the last decade, the banking industry, well, and any industry's obsession was digitalization. So it was all about being digital. And sure, we did it. We've been named by Forrester the best banking app in the world 6 times in the last 7 years. So once that was done, right now, the thing is that we have entered an absolute era of disruption led by artificial intelligence. 2025 at BBVA, we started a new strategic life cycle. So we had to not shift, but evolve to that new era. So what we did was we created a new core priority, a new obsession that we called RCP, which is Radical Customer Perspective, so that everything we do it with that mindset. And because for decades, banking industry was all about friction. We made our customers go through those clunky interfaces and go through those complex menus trying to find a product. But now AI has shifted completely all of that, and now it's more about conversations. So we moved from interfaces into conversations. We're moving from browsing product catalogs to the customers expressing the intent. Now we express the intent when we want something, right? So because of this new paradigm, the customers will come to us being like, with a natural language, asking for things. And the challenge here remains that when we answer back, it's perfectly contextualized and in real time. So BBVA right now is not just changing technology, but it's changing the very language of banking. So we have a challenge ahead, all of us.
Yeah, amazing. So you have the strategy obviously set, but obviously the next step is just organizational. So a lot of companies obviously say they want to be AI ready, but that also means changing how you're organized and how the different teams work. So how did you organize internally?
Yeah, so to make AI a reality at a massive global scale, we are 120,000 employees all around the world. So that was quite a challenge. And what we did is we broke down the full structure, and we created six different differentiated specialized work streams that are sustained by 2 bedrock pillars. So let me show you that. What we did is we call them robots. So those 6 AI-specific use cases, what we split was that we call them internally robots. The first one is the AI advisor. So this would be like a virtual assistant, 24/7 assistant. An AI banker. Okay. Sorry. the bankers, so these are like the tools that we've given for our branch tellers, contact center tools. Then we have risks, so everything risk related, ops and processes, software developers, so like Copilot and all those tools that developers are using. And connected is basically what employees we have right now. So we have like Gemini, we have ChatGPT, and everything has to be sustained by data, bedrock pillars, data and tech. So for today's session, we're going to zoom in the AI advisor because that's where my team and I are. Well, and also the tech because, as I said, we're building a lot of capabilities around technology and data. So that's what we're going to go through now.
Okay. So you obviously have the strategy, which is using AI to provide a better experience to customers, especially conversational. You have the organizational alignment, but then also you have the cross-functional team alignments. Especially with BBVA being such a big bank, how do you make sure that all the teams work together in full alignment? You have your marketing team, your analytics team, your IT. How do you make sure they're actually fully aligned?
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you a story, how our DNA from my team, it traces back to a single text message, a Google Chat message. It was in November 12, 2024. And we already had Tealium audience stream implemented, but we had like a very small use case. So the CEO of the global digital banks, he texts me and he goes like, Andrews, that's how he calls me. So I'm meeting Carlos and Onur, who are chairman and CEO and president of whole BBVA, next Monday. And I'm telling them that starting April the 1st next year, we're going to massively start cross-selling our products to our existing customers through paid media with the hashed emails that you guys are capturing because you have the consent now. So I'm positioning this as a key elevator for 2025 growth because I want to start selling more loans, more mortgages, and more credit cards. And I know that the legal blockers are over, but I need you, so what do we do? Like, are you on board? Do you think you can do it?
Yeah.
And I said, finally. Like, finally I had the catalyst I needed because I knew, as I said, we had those capabilities already built. We had Tealium already in place, but we just needed like a top-down sponsorship where it could break all those legacy silos. Banking industry, we have so many legacy silos. So basically all I needed was like that buy-in. So right on deadline, I'm not going to tell like all those 5 months of it was really complex. Banking industry, 5 months deadline is a very, very complex and terrifying deadline. But I knew that once I had that green card, like I could just like go to all our blockers and just go like, we need this because the CEO wants it. So right on deadline, we went live, not only with a cross-sell, but also with a Behnam card. I was listening to Florian yesterday, and he was saying, probably everybody has real-time Behnam cards. We didn't. We had in D+1, because they wouldn't let us connect like clouds, like Tealium and Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So we had that connected, real-time, loan abandon processes, and in the first month, we went up 66% of sales in loans. So we not only ended up there, but we were like, okay, we have the success story now. Now we have to sell this internally. So we take the Italian success to a roadshow, We like put it nicely in a document, and we started telling everyone all around BBVA. We have like 30, 40 different teams that, internal clients that ask us to do things for them. And as soon as they heard how data, engineering, and business work together, like the things we can get. So as soon as they heard everybody wanted real-time capabilities, and I said, okay, now is when the backlog exploded. We had so many things that needed to be built, but we didn't have the operating model. Because it was just like something that we did in Italy, like between some friends, and I was like, now we're being serious, and we need to do this like for real. So I created a multidisciplinary scrum with CDP specialists, marketing automation, data, engineering, and business. So everyone that builds journeys, marketing cloud, and so on. So I put all of that together in the same scrum that we will have the same objective. So I created a Scrum that was 100% accountable for delivering end-to-end use cases. So that was like, like what it really helped, the backlog and aligning all of that. So let's say that a demanding text message broke down those silos, but then I made sure that with that new Scrum, those silos were never going to be split again.
Amazing. So you started with executive sponsorship at the top, which was the CEO of digital global banks, and you implemented a couple of low-hanging use cases, but the fact that you just got a 66% lift in sales, that just opened up the world in terms of backlog of use cases and all the teams just asking for use cases to be deployed. That's amazing. So again, BBVA being a major global bank, right? You have presence in Spain, Mexico, Italy, you name it. How do you decide what is standardized versus localized, right? Because at some point you also have to have some sort of a standardization in place.
Yeah, so we built a framework because when the backlog started exploding, there were so different use cases. So what I decided was to create a framework, like a very easy framework that everybody would understand around capabilities. Because the thing is that we couldn't integrate our different platforms across one another. So everything, even the teams were working separately. So basically what I did was, we're going to start putting everything together. Data's going to start flowing, and we're going to rewire everything around. So we did a framework that around capabilities, more about integrations, MIT. So I think once we presented this back to the customers, to the users, everybody understood what, not the customers, our end users, what we could do. So first one was we integrated the data lake with Tealium to do suppression around paid media. So we knew what customers had which products, so that when we would do cross-selling, we would suppress them from audiences, because the typical thing that you already have an account and you keep getting those ads about get a new account, and you're like, I'm already a customer. So that was one of it. The second one was around marketing automation. As I said before, real-time retargeting, not only with abandoned processes flowing to marketing automation. In marketing, because we are a bank, we have so many different channels. We have 10 channels. So we put it in the marketing automation, and then we just expand it across our different channels. Then there's data scientists all the time creating next best offers in little data lakes that we batch upload to our marketing automation tools. Or right now what we've done is we've added an additional channel for them, which is paid media. So you can go and be like, this is a credit card for you via email or with a call center agent, or we can have it on a paid media. And the last one, which is personalization, which is an on-site. We're pushing those audiences to the web and the app so that when the customer enters, they see specifically what audience they're in. So we have very personalized experience for them. So we use, I was having lunch yesterday with some people, and I heard Bernardo say it too, it's we're using Tealium as the glue.
Perfect. So
it's the glue for us right now.
So going around the whole localization process, the use cases looks like they're fairly standardized, but then the exact execution, whether it's obviously language, but consent rights or specific timing or frequency, those are localized.
So the localized, this is global, that's what we're taking on the roadshow. Actually, we're going to help Mexican and everyone, Mexico market to embrace this framework. But then locally, there's so many differences. So one of them is the consent. So we have to have that as soon as we gather that consent around, hey, you log into our website or app and you have the cookie banner. Now we are asking them specifically to share the consent of us using your PII data to share it in a hashed way or encrypted way with Google, TikTok, Meta.
Okay.
Because before that, we couldn't do any of that. So we were just blind cookie-based, not that deterministically. But right now, since we have that okay, we can start flowing data in and out the different MarTech pieces.
Amazing.
And on the other side, it's about products. So some products will need, they might need real time. like in Italy, like the one-click loan, as soon as we moved that to real-time in 30 minutes, it converted that 66%. However, in Spain, we know that we need 2 days because the customer doesn't need that, that real-time readiness.
Yeah, perfect. So I want to go back to one of the use cases that you were talking earlier, like about the whole AI strategy, what you called AI advisor. And I believe that's some sort of a call center integration. I want to ask more about that and get your perspective. And the reason is because we're seeing a lot of customers doing integration, Tealium integration with their call center. But I want to understand kind of like your approach to that integration.
Yeah, so to understand the AI advisor, I need you to put yourself on the shoes of a customer. You log into the web app, you start wandering around a product, specific product. You want to get it, you want to get that product, but you start reading the the terms and cons. Then you start filling the form, but you hesitate. It's kind of overwhelming, all that information, and in the end, you just leave the form half filled, right? So before that, it would just be, as I said, like an email, like, hey, whatever. With the AI advisor, we're changing the full paradigm. So we're taking that piece of data, and what we're doing is fueling it to an AI engine that will work as a traffic controller. So basically, it's going to be like, what do I do? What's the best way right now to intervene with this piece of information? What do I do? It's an email service. Am I going to pop up a virtual assistant on that screen because he's still lingering around that and asking and being like contextualized message like, hey, Andrea, I know you're looking for an insurance policy. I know you have issues in here and here. Or maybe digital nudge isn't enough and you need to push that to a human, to someone human. So the idea is that as soon as Tealium detects those trigger points that we have detected, it's seconds, like 4 different configurations, what we're doing is we're taking that customer, fooling into the AI, adding context, and pushing that to the call center so that the call center can be armed with enough information. So imagine how transformative that can be, that the customer doesn't have to go like, that menu of, if you want to now press 1, now press 2. No, it goes straight to the call center, and the call center already knows who you are, what you'll be doing. Yeah. So it's taking a digital friction point, and it's giving it a highly personalized care. So it's really, really interesting and really, really transformative, and this is what we're working on right now.
Yeah. So using Tealium to collect all the behavioral information, creating context, pushing that context into the AI advisor so that ultimately the customer has a better experience. So not only it's a better experience, but also it's a shorter time with the agents.
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
Amazing. I guess final question I have is, looking at the next 12 to 18 months, what do you see as some of the next projects that you're going to be working on? And then maybe in closing, like if there's a piece of advice that you have for the audience, that would be fantastic.
So as I said, our backlog exploded, so we're just going to have work for the next 10 years because the more they know, the more they want to do. But something that we're doing with the AI readiness, we have 300 variables in the data layer. And what the AI teams are doing right now is they're analyzing whether that data needs to be pushed in real time to the AI engine, or they can just wait for the night batch download. And because certain information needs to be ready real time. So that's something that we're helping them. And as soon as we're doing POCs around that. And then a piece of advice that I would give everyone. This is something that has helped us a lot. And it's talking about people. I mean, if you have the budget, I would recommend hiring an IT expert. I have great IT experts in my team. No one from my team, please. But I would suggest that you guys go hire. I know they're rare. I know they're expensive. But trust me, it's the best money you can spend on. Should you not have the budget and you have to go to an implementation consultancy, then just go beyond implementation and training enablement and make them build use cases. Because by the end of the year, that budget will come along, and they will tell you to get internally in the company. And then just pick a use case, build it, document. You have to analyze the impact and then document it That's the most important part of everything. Document it, and then you just need to evangelize throughout the whole company. So then everything will come.
Yeah.
So I'll say, just do it, document it, so that everybody knows what you're doing, and then sell it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And, I had the pleasure of watching, Juan Carlos present yesterday, and
Don't say names.
And the work that you guys are
Yeah.
doing around data hygiene is absolutely unbelievable. We're out of time, but Andrea, thank you so much for your insights. Really appreciate your presence here.
Thank you.
Thank you.